You need to stop consuming. Yes, that's right. And I'm not talking about spending your money on a lot of products or a lot of courses and being poor because you don't have any money or in your wallet. No, I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about mainly of social media and useless content. Because today there's a lot of information online and we don't want to stop being online. At least for me, it's hard to do some boring task without listening to a podcast or listen to a video, and that's fucking wrong. That's wrong because you're stimulating your brain to be addict to some kind of uh, audio and noisy thing that, I mean, it's like playing a video game. You are being stimulated to play that video game. There are strong visuals, strong noises. And when you're doing some task and listen to something that is not correlated to it, just because you want something to be listened to be listening to, it's like occupying your brain with things that doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, you will probably forget what you listen to, even if it's music. You need to be you need to be prepared to do boring stuff because it's how the world worked. It's how our brain worked. A lot of ages. Imagine the human race is about 1 million years of age, and we we weren't used to that kind of consumerism. Imagine being a person 100 years ago. You, if you were a middleman, middle class man, you didn't have access. You didn't have access to a television. You probably need to read things on paper to not get bored. And read things on a paper today is boring as hell because that's not the kind of content that is fast and brain stimulative. So our race was managed to be, our brain was managed to evolve without those kind of stimulus. That's why a lot of people, of course, have depression and anxiety because our brain is not used to this kind of stimulus. And with all that things, it's getting harder and harder to organize our life because when you're consuming and when you're addict to consume, I mean, when you're addict to content or social media, when you stop your things, you stop your tasks, and finally decide, oh, I'm going to be someone. I'm going to write down all the things I need to do to become a better person. And the moment you start typing, you're like, oh my God, I can't do that on silence because you are fucking at it. You need something on in your ears, on your brain. You need to see something. You need to do more than one stuff. It's getting harder and harder to pause our day just to read a book. You need some screen. You need some noise. It's harder and harder to meditate, and meditation was a thing. But that's not bad because being a consume people that consume a lot, you you will eventually get access to some useful information. But that's the minority of the time. Uh, I I I started recording these audios because I need some time for myself. I needed to pause a moment of my day. I work remote, I work with internet, and it's hard to get pause because all the time someone is calling me, all the time someone is needing something that need my help. Every time someone needs my help, and my brain there's some point at the day that my brain is so overloaded with information that I need to pause, and I just can't pause. I open YouTube, I start to watch the commentary, I start to watch some gameplay, I start to listen to some podcast, and I start to do my tasks, listen to a podcast. I open a AI. Yes, AI is kind of consumerism too, I guess, because you spend your time uh, reading something and artificial intelligence wrote, and that's not that's wrong, because I think AI is pretty clever. They write things, but that's kind of consumerism. I mean, if you ask someone to build a content to you and you spend a lot of time reading that, and a lot of time you ask for useless things like, oh, what does that book, what's the story of that book? And you start to argue with the AI if it's good or not about spoilers and other things. I guess you passed uh, this situation sometime in your life. But getting back to consume it, yes, you need to stop to consume, and you need to start to doing something like writing on a journal, your daily journal. You need to start to talk to yourself. Silence. That's what I'm doing now. I'm watching a screen with my audio and talking to it, not in my native language, and it's pretty hard. I I get this stuttering time is not uh not because I don't know what I'm going to say, but because it's hard. It's hard to stop and do something different, something that alleviates your mind, I guess. Something that get that pressure off. And today uh, I was talking with a close friend of mine that need psychology help and visit psychiatrists, psychologists, and I guess there's some people that doesn't need doesn't need help. They they doesn't need uh tertiary help. They need to help themselves. And it's hard to ask someone to fix your life if you don't want your life to be fixed, and stop being a people that consume a person that consume a lot of useless content will fix your life, because it will get the it will it won't allow pressure getting on your brain. And I think that's it, because another thing is I consume a lot of politics, and even if I am not a politic, I get that kind of feel that I can change the world, but I just can't. So it's useless to consume politics information, political information, because that's useless. I can't do nothing. I will just be mad. And 99% of the time that you see something on the news that is political, you get mad. Sometimes you get hopeful, but it's not, it's just a little tiny percentage of time. So about other things too. if you see the market, you will always see that the market's on a crisis, and that's not true. But you consume things like that because it gets views, and it will eventually appear in your timeline, and you will be mad because you will think that markets is crashing, and you will not be hopeful. You will not be thriving. You won't do nothing because the market's always bad. The politics is always bad. My neighborhood's always bad. My life is always bad. So why would I change something if it's always bad, right? So yeah, stop consuming. Um, Instead of consuming, start creating, because I think that's how humans get some kind of useful value for these lives. Because when you create something, you provide value, even if it's for yourself. If you create something, you want your creation to be good, right? It's kind of Victor Frankenstein type thing, but you want your creation to be good, and it can it can not be good, but for you it will be, and for you it will matter, and you will be grateful for your creations. And being grateful for your creation, be grateful for something is kind of a cure for a disease that is in your brain, that is uh, being hopeless for consuming so much useless things. So start creating, even if it's writing on a journal, thing you do today, I think you did today, if it's a thought you had, like I'm doing now. So that's it. Thank you for listening.